What's going on YouTube, fam? This your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch the video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. What's hope amongst some that feel hopeless? That's a question I always ask myself. If you come from the trenches and understand the mindset of robbers, trappers, and even the shooters, some feel like it's no way out. It's a Doug eat Doug world, so I gotta go out here and get it how I live. Then you got others that take that pain of coming from the trenches, brother, what they see daily, what they might have went through, rather losing people, addiction, prison time, and turn them scars and war wounds into passion to give a city hope. Baltimore has always been a talented city, and lately, me myself have been super proud of us, from the music scene to other things. Rappers like Moose, Tech, Scholar, Roddy, Shorty, rest in peace to Scooter. I could go on and on, but that's just to name a few. I myself don't know none of these individuals personally, but being from Baltimore, hearing somebody that talks like me, come from the same environments, and doing something to put the city on, I'm gonna always play the sideline and hope they win every time. We all know, even for the ones who make it and get a chance to reach their peak and become successful, it's hundreds of more that unfortunately fall victim, either to the streets or behind on walls. And as much passion and hope we all have for our city, we all know, unfortunately, the streets have a way of their own. It's a depressing feeling to see someone to come up, you see greatness in them, they are here 1 minute, giving the people hope, then the next day, they are gone. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the recent tragedy that put a dark cloud over the city with the loss of up-and-coming rapper, President Davo. David Boykin, aka President Davo, was an up-and-coming Baltimore rapper who most know from his classics like Forever Freestyle and his hit that took the city by storm, I Don't Want to Be a Player, a remix to Big Pun's classic song. It was a fun anthem about females with a touch of Baltimore swag and the trenches. With over 7 million views on YouTube, this will become a hit for Davo, not just in the city, but all over the world. With a unique voice, Davo picked up fans who gravitated towards his flow, doing shows, performing his hits. It seemed Davo was destined for greatness and had found his calling, with his dreams coming true of being a rapper. But Davo was more than just an entertainer. He was a father of 3, a light in the trenches who was reachable. Kids were able to see him and his fans reach him, as Davo wanted nothing more but to give back and see his city in a better position. He often volunteered and talked to the young men and was a big advocate for the opioid crisis, telling the hoppers to leave the yerks and other pills alone. Prior to this year, Davo was a little bit quiet with the music until he decided to drop Underrated on Apple Music with some of his classic hits on there, in which he still did features and had big hits, often performing to keep his craft up. It seemed Davo had everything to be successful in the game: the flow, lyrics, voice, style, stage presence, and the city behind him. But unfortunately, on October 6th of this year, Davo was sitting on a porch in the 2000 block of Cliffwood Avenue in Clifton Park in East Baltimore, when someone came through the cut and opened fire on the porch. BPD was called to the scene about 6:15 p.m. When they arrived, they found Davo suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He was rushed to a local hospital, but unfortunately, he would pass away from his injuries. As news got out about the passing of the father of 3 and talented rapper, it shocked the city. At just 28 years old, Davo was gone. A public viewing was held at Wiley Funeral Home, so family, friends, and fans could say their final goodbyes. An $8,000 reward was offered for any information in the case. As detectives realized homes in the area had security cameras, They looked at footage that showed the shooter come through the alleyway, shoot, then run back to a getaway vehicle. The car and tags was caught on video. As police searched the database, they were able to link the whip back to a 27-year-old man named Earl Lee. Earl, who was already on probation, had an up-and-coming appointment with his PO. Then on November 8th, unaware he was on the radar, Earl pulled up in the same car used for the hit and went to his appointment. Once he exited the building, Baltimore Regional Auto Theft Task Force was right there to take him into custody. A search of the car revealed a loaded 9mm. Earl was booked into central bookings, charged with first-degree hit and handgun violations. Earl allegedly waived his rights and confessed to the hit, giving a full confession. But as of now, no motive was ever released. Earl is being held on no bail and is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Davo. I send my deepest prayers and condolences to his family and kids. I saw one post after this happened that asked, how the city gonna ever get on if we keep killing the talent, as many rappers have lost their lives due to gun violence in Baltimore. I don't know the street politics behind the artists, but on the positive music side, I listen to Scooter every day. Still in the trenches, all of them. Davo gets played on a regular. Even my wife was shook up about his death, as she loves his music. To continue to lose people who give hope to the hopeless is a tragedy all in itself. I pray one day we get it together and understand we hurt ourselves when stuff like this happens. You never know who will get in that door and hold it open for the next rapper, comedian, singer, clothing brand, anything coming from the city. But if the industry only sees us as violent and cruddy, turning on our own, it will run the business away and we will forever be overlooked. I know the city can come together. I saw it with Freddie Gray, but we can't just want the violence to stop when it comes to time out. It gotta start in the trenches. Nobody will ever care about the place we come from and love if we don't. Yeah, man, rest in peace, Davo. Like I said, I send my prayers and condolences to his family. It's a messed up situation. I don't know the politics. I don't know the street story behind this. I wasn't even gonna do this video because when it comes to stuff like this, I be trying to wait for more information to come out so I can have my sources together and put the story together properly. But I can say this, I salute any rapper coming out the city. I don't know them personally. I listen to all of them. I hope they all make it. I hope they all become very successful because we need that. That's who gonna help us get to that next level. So yeah, man, I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. Let me know what you think about the situation in the comments. Definitely be respectful. It's another episode of the Baltimore Way. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam. I'm out. What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end. They hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you're feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. Before I get into this story, I just want to say it's a requested video. But with that being said, let's get right into it. When you decide as a man to go the family route, it comes with a lot of sacrifices. You don't only just have to worry about you and take care of yourself no more, but now you have other people counting on you as well to provide, put food on the table, clothes on their back, and a roof over their heads. Some go to work, grind, and depend on that paycheck every week or every 2 weeks to make ends meet. Others might not have that kind of patience and want fast money, so they hit the streets. But I'm sure most men can relate to doing a little bit of both from time to time, just to stay afloat when things get hard. Even if you are not a street dude, before a father watches their kid go without, they will take a risk and maybe grab something as a side hustle. A few ounces of grass, whatever, that's moving around your way. just to make sure we are doing our jobs as providers. It seems simple enough, right? Hit and miss, nothing long term, but once you step into them streets and start willing and dealing, you are dealing with a whole nother element and group of people. The rules go out the window, and principles and morals in the game been long gone. It's every man for themselves. Nobody cares. You are only making this play to feed your kids. If you have something they want, it's only one thing on their mind. How can they get that up off you? Making sales in the streets has always been dangerous because you are thinking about a dollar, but you never know what the next person is thinking about. And depending on the type of person you are dealing with, a simple play can take a turn real quick. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be taking it all the way back to 2018 to discuss the case of a man who got dropped off at a house in Northeast Baltimore but never made it out. Back in 2018, 38-year-old Shamal was navigating life in Baltimore. Coming from a big family, he was all about his peoples, especially his kids. Shamal was described as a family man, originally from West Baltimore. He was known and loved by everybody he came in contact with. A big dude, but described as a gentle giant who loved people. He would keep a job, but sometimes if things got tight, like many in Baltimore, he would find a side hustle. And in a city like ours, that's usually trying to get a few dollars in the open air drug market. It wasn't a permanent thing, just to make sure his family ate. On February 26, 2018, it was business as usual for Shamal when he got a call from an associate, 39-year-old Anthony Austin. Anthony told the man he wanted to grab something and asked Shamal could he pull up to the 1200 block of Glen Haven Road in Northeast Baltimore. Wanting to sell, Shamal agreed, even though he didn't know much about the area. He asked the young lady in front of the family for a ride to the location. It was afternoon, about 1 p.m., when he headed from over west to the address. During the drive, Shamal confirmed to Anthony he was on his way. Around 1:30, he pulled up to the house, told his friend he would be back, and walked in. She waited outside, but as time went on, she became concerned. She called Shamal's phone multiple times before beeping the car horn over and over with no response. Thinking something just didn't feel right, about after 2 hours, his ride left. She called his family, Shamal's sister, and also his best friend, and told them the situation. They all got together and returned back to the area that night around about 9 p.m. They walked up and down the block looking for Shamal before going to the address he was first dropped off at. They knocked on the door, but no one answered. His homeboy walked around back and saw a kitchen light on, but still no response. So they decided to call police. As Shamal's family delivered the information to police, not knowing what they was walking into, they decided to come prepared with a search warrant to search the home. When they got to the address, they went inside. They found cleaning supplies, a dollar store, and Rite Aid receipt, and it seemed like something had taken place. They did a luminol test and saw it was blood on the extension cord, also a baseball bat and blood on the floor, but nobody was in the house. A neighbor told police a woman lived there with her boyfriend and 2 kids, but she had recently went back to New York to take care of her mother and didn't return. The boyfriend she was referring to was Anthony. Later into that night, going into the next morning, Shamal's family were still walking around looking for him. So was police. When not too far away, in the 1200 block of East Belvedere, there was reports of a fire. As the fire department pulled up to put out the blaze, police arrived to the scene also, along with Shamal's family. Realizing it was foul play with a gasoline smell, a search of the place revealed the body. And with certain items of clothes, Shamal's family were able to confirm it was unfortunately him. He was pronounced gone at the scene. An autopsy was done, and it was quickly determined Shamal did not pass away due to the fire, but blunt force trauma to the head. It was no smoke in the man's lungs, meaning he was already gone when the fire was started. Police determined the incident happened on Glen Haven, and whoever did it to cover their tracks took the body to Belvedere and tried to make it seem like a house fire. Shamal's family was devastated. His sister spoke out. She stated that wasn't something easy to tell their mother, that her brother wasn't shot but beat and burned. Other family members were also trying to cope with the situation as they prayed for justice. Now police had their eyes on one person, Anthony. Already having a record, they ran fingerprints on the man from the receipts they found in the house. They came back a match to him. Also, surveillance footage from both stores, the dollar store and Rite Aid, showed he was the person buying the cleaning products. A search of Shamal's phone showed him and Anthony's phone pinged in the same location for hours, and Anthony's phone pinged at the house on Belvedere, but Shamal's was cut off around about the time the fire started. A few weeks later, Anthony was picked up for questioning. He admitted he once lived at the house on Glenhaven with his girlfriend and her 2 kids, but he claimed they had moved back to New York. He stated he only came back to the home that day to get some grass he had left in the house. He claimed while in the house, he heard a knock on the door. Scared because he had a warrant out for his arrest, he stated he thought it was the police and ran out the back door. He admitted to going to the store, buying cleaning supplies, trash bags, and other items, but he never admitted coming in contact with Shamal. But with the evidence against him, Anthony was taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit and also arson. While awaiting trial, he befriended a jailhouse lawyer who he asked to help with his case. Anthony allegedly bragged to the man about how he had already beat one body back in the day, and he knew without evidence he would beat this one too. But he made a critical mistake by bragging to the man, stating Shamal was allegedly a drug dealer, and he decided he would rob the man. He stated the man was big, so he had to hurt him to get him down, but then he realized he had took his life. Anthony then stated he went to get products from the store to get rid of the man and called the friend for help so they could help take Shamal to Belvedere, where the fire was started. As the case made its way to trial, Anthony was surprised to see the witnesses who was testifying against him. The neighbor who stated that day she heard somebody outside that kept beeping the car horn. She stated she remembered Shamal going in the house, but she never saw him come out. But she knew for a fact Anthony was in the house. Anthony's mother also testified. She confirmed her son had a key to the house and that he would often go over there to do whatever he was doing. But the nail in the coffin would come when, to Anthony's surprise, the jailhouse lawyer, who he told everything to, took the stand. He told the courtroom everything Anthony had told him about the case, and that the man had admitted the whole situation to him. With that, Anthony was found guilty on all charges, sentenced to life for the hit, to run wild with another 20 years for arson. Rest in peace to Shamal. I send my prayers and condolences to his friends and family. Just out trying to make a few dollars and something like this happens. That's terrible. But it goes to show you can't always trust a handshake and a smile. I don't know how Anthony thought he was going to get away with the situation. Shamal was dropped off broad daylight. You was the last person he called, and everybody knew you was at the house. Then you admitted to somebody in jail you did it. That's wild. I guess whatever Shamal had, he felt like it was worth it. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on the situation. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace to Shamal. I definitely send my prayers to his family. Like I said, this is a requested video. Salute to the person who sent me this. But I ain't gonna talk too much more about this one. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. This is another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Love, fam.
This is Tony 2 times, and I'm back with another episode of the Baltimore Way. In this video, I'll be discussing how a normal workday took a tragic turn for a beloved city employee. But before we get into this video, please hit that like button. Also, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and join the Tony 2 times family. Tap the notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. And of course, feel free to share this video with everyone you know. Everything in this video is alleged. All right, let's get into it. In the heart of Baltimore, Maryland, A city of grit, history, and resilience lived Gregory Turnipseed. A proud father, a devoted family man, a sharp dresser with an easy smile, and the kind of person who believed in showing up for others. Gregory wasn't known because of a spotlight or a headline. He was known because of his character. He was the friend who answered the phone. He was the father who rearranged his life so his children could dream bigger. He was the coworker who made the long days feel a little shorter. Born with quiet ambition and a heart for helping, Gregory chased knowledge early. He attended Towson University and built a professional future rooted in engineering and public service. But ask anyone who knows him, and they'll tell you his greatest passion wasn't in numbers, streets, or systems. It was people, especially being a father. Gregory was present at sporting events, auditions, pageants, and practices. His daughter recalls, "Most people think the mom does those things, but my dad did that." To Gregory, family wasn't a responsibility. It was a joy. For 14 years, Gregory served as a traffic investigator with Baltimore's Department of Transportation. He was a part of the team that managed the flow of a bustling city, from events to accidents to the thousands of day-to-day moments requiring order and communication. Co-workers described him as steady, thoughtful, someone who handled conflict with calm rather than force. He represented the quiet dignity of public service, the kind that keeps a city functioning even when no one is watching. City leaders would later say he served Baltimore with dignity and integrity. But then a normal day at work took a turn for the worse. It was just after midday on October 17th in the busy Mount Vernon area, a well-traveled stretch near Mercy Medical Center. Gregory was walking along St. Paul Street when he noticed something routine: a driver waiting for a parking space and an SUV still occupying it. Wanting to help move things along, as he had done countless times before, Gregory approached the black Chevrolet SUV to notify the driver that another vehicle was waiting. Just a simple gesture, communication, the most basic tool in his line of work. But instead of a short exchange, the moment spiraled. The driver of the SUV and the passenger became irate after Gregory approached them about moving the vehicle. Charging documents recount that a teenage girl sitting in the front passenger seat became visibly upset. She exited the vehicle and struck Gregory, punching him repeatedly. Gregory attempted to stop her from continuing when the woman, believed to be her mother, 49-year-old Kiana Bonaparte, stepped out of the vehicle as well. She jumped on Gregory's back, causing him to fall, before kicking him, delivering repeated strikes that left him injured on the ground. Moments later, both individuals got back into the SUV and left. Gregory sought medical attention the day the violent encounter happened. For a moment, it appeared he would recover, even undergoing surgery intended to relieve a brain bleed and stabilize his condition. Family members visited, prayed, and hoped. His friend recalled the moment he learned Gregory needed surgery. He said, "My mind was all over the place. I didn't want to lose another friend." But in the days that followed, Gregory's condition drastically weakened. He would never return to the life that once kept him moving through the streets of the city he served. He passed away the day before Thanksgiving, a holiday his family once used to celebrate gratitude and togetherness. This year, the empty chair at the table carried weight words could not hold. Gregory's story rippled across Baltimore. Colleagues mourned the loss of a respected co-worker. City leaders shared public statements honoring his legacy. Residents were shocked that an everyday parking encounter, a situation hundreds of workers handle each week, could escalate so rapidly. One neighbor said that learning a teenager was involved made the tragedy even harder to process. They said it's shocking that someone so young felt comfortable acting that way, especially in front of a parent. Gregory's family expressed the same disbelief, especially his daughter, who questioned the mentality behind the moment. She said, "This really puts into perspective how we treat people out on the street. You don't think things like this will happen." Police later identified the SUV involved and arrested Kiana Bonaparte, who was already under supervised probation at the time of the incident. She now faces upgraded charges, with further legal actions pending, including consideration of the role and accountability of her 15-year-old daughter. Kiana is innocent until proven guilty. Gregory's daughter has been clear and unwavering in what justice means for her family. She said justice would be both individuals being prosecuted and not reduced. She went on to say that actions have consequences. This incident was not a confrontation between longtime rivals. There was no deep history, no ongoing dispute. It was merely seconds. This was pride, an escalation with no pause. And it leaves us with questions we must confront. Why is patience becoming rare? Why are tempers becoming quicker than logic? Why do so many feel disrespected where there was no disrespect intended? And when did it become okay to allow a child to put their hands on someone who's not a threat, especially the elderly? Gregory's daughter shared words that now serve as a sobering reminder. Once you see things are getting heated, don't engage, leave it alone. Helping should never cost someone their future, but walking away when pride tells you not to might be one of the most powerful forms of wisdom we have left. May Gregory Turnipseed rest in peace. Condolences to his family. I send them my well wishes during this difficult time, especially during this holiday season. Gregory Turnipseed should be remembered for his life, not the moment it was taken from him. He was a devoted father, a public servant, and a mentor. At 71 years old, he was looking forward to retirement, travel, and new memories with the family he cherished. His story should be a wake-up call, not to fear each other, but to think before reacting, to understand the weight of a single decision, and to remember that behind every stranger is a life full of people who love them. Fam, I'm going to leave the rest up to you. What are your thoughts on this tragic story? Let me know in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of the Baltimore Way. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video informative and believe these stories matter, please consider liking this video so more people can see it. Subscribe for more stories like this that deserve to be heard. And most importantly, take care of yourself and those around you. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 times. Until next time.
What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of the Baltimore Way, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. It's free. It helps get the video out there. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For my day one fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Oh yeah, feel free to share the channel with your peoples. Everybody is welcome. With that being said, let's get right into the story. It's hard navigating and surviving every day as a black man in America. Trying to stay afloat, free and alive is unfortunately a harsh reality for most of us, and it's an everyday job. A lot of men have been taught since hoppers, whether by your mother, father, or loved ones, you gotta be tough. When you show any emotions, you hear, tighten up, stop all that soft stuff. Boys don't cry. Now you are growing up not knowing where to place your feelings, and that can turn into misplaced anger. By the time most of us become teenagers, if you grew up in a certain environment, now you are fighting, trying to survive. Some start beefing over blocks and neighborhoods we don't even own. Now you start to look at yo and them down the street and around the corner who look just like you, dress like you, and talk like you as your ops or enemies. And from there, it's embedded in your mind. Some call it programming. Some say it's self-hate. The majority of black men will walk in a store, bump shoulders with someone from another race, and will either apologize, or if they apologize to you, say it's no problem and keep it moving. But the cold part is, let it be another black man who looks just like you. It's no mercy. Now you mugging, cracking slick, saying yo ain't see me or something. The same grace and mercy doesn't exist. And for decades, we have trained our minds to be so fast to feel disrespected or ready to go to war with our own. Releasing that misplaced anger and emotion, sending many of us to a cell or early grave. And on this episode of the Baltimore Way, we'll be discussing the case of a dispute on the West Baltimore block that ended in a life sentence. Back in 2024, 45-year-old Antonio King was trying to put his past behind him, focus on the future while navigating life in Baltimore. Antonio had a lot of hardships over the years, losing a child, his daughter, even further back than that, a tough upbringing, losing both of his parents and leaning more towards the streets, landing him in and out of Maryland state jails and prisons with multiple convictions for assault, drug possession, weapon charges, and more. But now back uptown and a free man, he was trying to stay out the way. On a cold fall day, November 18th, 2024, it was early in the morning when Antonio decided he would slide out to go pick up some breakfast. He headed to Emerson Avenue, but before he hit the food spot, he stopped at a local liquor store. Outside the store was a group of people just chopping it up, which is not uncommon in Baltimore, even first thing in the morning. And the group was 40-year-old Marcus Holloway. Somewhere in the mix, Marcus and Antonio would catch each other's attention, and a brief exchange led to the two having words. Antonio started pushing Marcus and another man he was with and telling them like, yo, get out the way, while bopping from the store. Antonio then said a few more words to Marcus before going to his car. A few seconds later, multiple shots went off. Witnesses called BPD as they responded to the 1900 block of Emerson Avenue a little bit after 9:30 a.m. They found two men, both suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. One of the victims was in stable condition, but Marcus, who was shot multiple times, was unfortunately pronounced gone at the scene. As police gathered shell casings and spoke to witnesses who stated one man started pushing Marcus and his homie, telling them keep talking, he had something for them, before walking out the store, coming back, shooting, standing over Marcus. Police found the loaded handgun and realized it was city cameras all in the area. As they got video and store surveillance, it showed the man hop out a black GMC SUV wearing distinctive clothes. The same vehicle left one location, then headed to another, the store, where the tag number was caught on camera, and some of the incident as well. The video showed the man pushing Marcus and another man before walking to the car, grabbing what seemed to be a gun, walking back, shooting. A search of the vehicle tag number revealed the car's registered owner, Antonio King. Police went back to the block, showed witnesses a picture of Antonio, in which multiple people pointed to him as the shooter. Just one day after the incident, police waited outside of Antonio's home for him to pull up, in which eventually he did, driving the same SUV with the same clothes on as the man caught in video. Police searched the vehicle. Inside, they found open liquor bottles, an empty gun holster, but no weapon. But with witness statements and video footage, Antonio was taken into custody, charged with first-degree hit, attempt, and other charges as well. As the case started making its way to trial, the evidence against the man was overwhelming. His attorney tried to fight, pointing to the fact Marcus allegedly had a high alcohol level, 3 times over the limit at the time of his passing, claiming he also had a gun, and Antonio was in fear for his life. His attorney stated police never even tested or swabbed the gun that was found on the scene the day of the incident, so they didn't know who it belonged to. It was also a problem with the jewelry. Antonio's attorney stated one of the jewelers was the man's ex-girlfriend's friend who he had a bad history with, so he requested for her to be removed. But it wasn't any solid evidence that was the case, and the prosecution felt his attorney was just trying to buy time and complicate an open and shut case. At trial, video footage was showed of a man who prosecutors stated was Antonio get out of the truck, walk to the store. A few minutes later, the man started pushing Marcus before walking back to the car, coming back, shooting at close range. Antonio took the stand in his own defense. He told the courtroom he was just going to get breakfast. He didn't want any trouble, but also didn't want to lose his life. But as prosecutors asked, when you went to your car, why not just leave? Why come back shooting? He couldn't answer. Antonio's attorney leaned to the courtroom and jury, hoping they will show mercy, pointing to his hard upbringing and all the losses he took over the years, pointing to the fact he probably just had a lapse of judgment because all he knew and was taught was survival instincts. But with multiple witnesses and all the evidence against him, Antonio was found guilty on all the charges, sentenced to life plus 35 years in prison. Rest in peace to Marcus. I send my prayers and condolences to his family. I'm not sure if he was out drinking or not, but even if he was geeking a little bit and had a few too many, Antonio had a choice. Peep the vibes, who was all at the store, say, nah, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Or even if he did go into the store, he could have said, yo and them a little bit too turned up for me this morning, laughed it off and dipped out. He even went to the car to allegedly get the gun. At that point, you gotta ask yourself, broad daylight, busy block, multiple cameras everywhere, witnesses, it's my pride and ego worth me crashing out over a few words. Like I was saying earlier though, that it would have been a different group of people. It probably would have been a lot more grace given. Antonio probably would have left, went somewhere else to get his food, and went home. With that mindset we had with each other, somebody got to show who the toughest. Now one man is gone, another sitting in a cell with life plus over a petty dispute that could have went a lot of different ways. But I'm going to leave this one open for discussion. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts on the situation. Leave it in the comments. Yeah, man, crazy story. Rest in peace, that man. I definitely send my prayers to his family. But I ain't going to talk too much more about this one. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all leave it in the comments. This another episode of the Baltimore Way. It's your boy Tony 2 times. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. I'm out.